Howdy. So we're going to get into the nuts and bolts, and I am struggling with how to show this online. You're going to have to pay attention and stay with me. What I think I'll do is I will do a series of shorter videos on this. I'm going to show you how to do the actual risk assessment. So I want you to understand how you derive this based on the NIST family of controls, and I want you to begin to explain the tie-in between the risk assessment, the security policy, and step-by-step procedures. All right, so first I'm going to show you text from a risk assessment that I did, and then I'm going to demonstrate how to build the risk assessment. So I'm picked physical and environmental. Let me go to a risk assessment I did a couple years ago. I've scrubbed it with the client's name, and basically this is the text. Now let's step back a minute and go to our NIST families. I'm going to pick the PE, physical and environmental, as soon as it comes up. Remember our NIST families here? So here's the physical and environmental protection. And there's a number of controls. Now, we have talked about how we categorize data with low, moderate, and high. Look at the number of controls. Every NIST family, the first control is always about that particular family and how you do the policy and procedures. So when we click on this and you notice low, moderate, and high has to use it, you will see that the control description is put here. The organization develops, documents, and disseminates to, then your brackets, a physical and environmental protection policy that addresses purpose, scope, roles, responsibility, management, commitment, on and on and on. Okay? Here's your control description. These A and B, each with 2 sub-bullets. Then, if you're saying, I'm not sure what this means, here's the supplemental advice or guidance. All right? And then you have control enhancements. We don't have control enhancements because it is the same. PE1 is the same for low, medium, and high, regardless. Low, moderate, high. Then it'll give you some references. Well, let me see how I implemented this. This is what I did in my document. I put in the actual physical environmental protection, cut and pasted this right out of that document. Don't worry about how this says now. I replaced the name of the system for my client with the word system. I have some roles here. Just right now, don't worry about that. But we've talked about the responsible role, the parameters for this. The parameters are going to be, they're going to do the policy at least every 3 years and review the procedures every year. This is a standard 3 years for policy, 1 year for procedures. And so I say, how is it implemented? So I have implemented this here, and I have written the verbiage for Part A, going back to PE1, Part A, and PE, you can see I wrote a lot, Part B, and don't worry again right now, I'm just wanting you to get the 30,000 foot, but you will see that there are things called ISO, that's your system security officer, SO, system owner, right? AO, authorizing officer, and here's another one, PE2. So let's go back. Let's look at PE2. PE2 is physical access authorizations. Its priority is the same for low, moderate, and high. Now look at the difference. You're saying, well, I don't understand. Look at the difference that in, let's say, PE4, there's no requirement for low system of criticality data. All right? But there is for moderate, there is for high. But for PE1 and PE2, you have the same level. So I go to PE2, Process Access Authorizations. And so this says, here's your control description. The organization develops, approves, and maintains a list of individuals with authorized access to the facility where the information system resides. It issues authorization credentials. It reviews the access list detailing authorized facility access by individuals. Check the brackets. How often? How often? And removes individuals when the access is no longer required. So let's see how I did this one. Here's PE2. I copy this as is. I say that it's going to be implemented. And what I do is a little consulting thing. In my comment, I put in the requirement and I fill this out. And I say how it's going to be implemented. And I write this. And I do things the same way. This is, as I said, one that I've scrubbed. So I copy what's there, and then I tell how the control enhancement is going to be summarized. There is a piece missing here. I'll explain that later from the template I'm going to give you. I give it the requirement. What you're seeing here is actually, I'm showing you my consultant notes. I have identified myself for the requirement every time I put the requirement in, but I have comments. If you see it's the author, it was someone else I worked for, and these are like questions I wrote. If I put something in red, I maybe made some changes, and this is how the other consultant and I worked. Okay, so I'm going to post this document. Before we proceed too far, I want you to go through and look at it. It is incorrect in that when I scrubbed it, I actually took more out of here than I needed to, but hopefully I have not left in a client's name or anything like that. So let's show you how I would do this. If you are working on a document, I am going to, sorry, I need to get to my Word. Where is Word? Sorry, I thought I had this open. Yes, I should have had it open. Here's where you're going to go. You are going to go to FedRAMP and you are going to download the template. Why are you going to do this? Well, because you can make your own or you can use the template. So this is the System Security Plan for HI. I just downloaded the HI. It goes through and it walks you through the steps. Now, the document revision is because when you're doing one of these in a group, you're going to be spending months on this. So you want to have a traceability in the documents, the version, the author, where you know it's the same one. Take a minute and look down the side here that they have all of the access controls, all of the family of controls, beginning with access control, completely defined. So the template is something you are going to fill out for your risk assessment. Now, for now, don't worry about the cloud stuff. I want to concentrate on the controls themselves, okay? So if you look through the table of contents, wow, I have everything laid out. Imagine, remember 100 points this semester for your templates? Well, guess what? In the old days, students used to come up themselves. Now you go and you very smartly Google FedRAMP and go to the FedRAMP. Now let's look at how we would build this. And this is what, by the way, the control organization is what I accidentally took out of the other one. But otherwise, everything that you need is right here. Okay? It's going to define the control. It's going to tell you how it's implemented and the like. So let's find our PE. Okay? So here it's going to have copied for you everything that you just saw from your NIST website. And here's where you're going to build it. And it looks prettier than what I showed you. So here it is, the physical and environmental protection, the organization, exactly copied out of that, the responsible role, the parameters, because as you saw, every 3 years, every year, if it's implemented, partially implemented, and then you have what is the solution and how is it implemented. Okay? So before we proceed, what I want you to do is spend some time with these documents. This is the grunt and grind part of risk assessment. I wish I could make it easier. I cannot. So before we proceed, I want you to look at what I am giving you and go through it. And then what I'm going to do is create a video doing PS, personnel security, because there's only, I think, maybe 8 controls that will show you in detailed fashion how this is done. And then you're going to be asked to do one for me. As always, if there's any questions, let me know. I apologize. This would be easier to do if we were in person. I have struggled how to show this online. I'm still trying to get a green room where I can actually show more of this with a whiteboard and the like, but in the meantime, this will have to do. Thank you for your attention.